What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dialed In. We have weekly episodes with influencers, bodybuilders, whatever you can imagine. So today we have another guest here. Give us a quick breakdown of who you are, my man.
My name is Zane West, coach, competitor, father, a couple different things.
Oh, nice. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, cool. How's the fatherhood while being in the bodybuilding world, influencing world? Is that difficult to do?
In the bodybuilding world, definitely when it comes to prep, like being a father is definitely rough because my son will be just running around screaming and stuff, and I'm just instantly annoyed, and I'm trying to, enjoy a meal, and he's just, so it's definitely rough.
Nice. And one thing I've seen too with a lot of even like my clients or even friends is like they're so hardcore in bodybuilding that they neglect their girlfriend, wife, children. Do you find that that's difficult to manage around? I mean, obviously you don't want to do it on purpose, but it is a very individual sport, a selfish sport, if you may say.
100%. It's extremely hard, especially like the last 3-4 weeks. I would say the last 3 weeks for sure. Like definitely I do kind of neglect like the wife, the son, like not on purpose, obviously, but
of course.
That's pretty much how it goes. And my wife's been with me since my first ever prep, so she knows how it goes. But I feel like I've definitely gotten better as the preps go along.
What would you say to individuals out there that they maybe don't have a supportive girlfriend or don't have a supportive wife? What would you say that you could maybe advice you can give them to maybe get the significant other on board to support them more?
So that's extremely rough. That's very rough because, my wife, when we first got together, I told her this is what I was going to be doing. I told her from, the beginning what was going to happen. So she accepted it from the beginning. I mean, it was either you're going to accept this or it's not going to work out. So, a lot of guys, they've been with their, girlfriend or wife for a long period of time, and then they start doing it later on, and the wife's just not ready for it. I've had, clients and friends too that their wives threaten them divorce during a contest prep and stuff like that. So it's definitely rough. Like you have to have a very understanding partner, and it's rough. It's definitely rough.
Yeah, just leading into one. So first of all, I agree with that. Then one thing I want to lead into, I talked about this in the last podcast episode coming this weekend with the previous guy. And I was saying how one of my clients, he's never competed before. This is his first time. And he's been with his girlfriend or wife for about 6-7 years, for a pretty good amount of time. And he always gave her a bunch of attention, bunch of time. Yep. And then as he signed up for prep, he finally did something on his own that like was meaningful to him. He needed a goal. I think we're about 3 weeks out. And he called me like crying. And he's like, yo, like my wife said, if I do this show, she's divorcing me. And I was like, but it's 3 more weeks. Like, I just see if it was 3 more months. Like, sure, shut it down. But she's like, you're not doing it. So I was like, bro, she might be bluffing, but she might not be. You know her. I do not. Make that decision. I'm not going to force you to do it. So he ended up doing the show. We didn't talk too much about it for obvious reasons. And she divorced him. So I don't know the update. This is not too long ago. I'll talk to him and see what the update is. And I was like,
she divorced?
Holy shit. Like I know it wasn't my fault as the coach, but like I can't help but feel guilty about something like that. That like you're with someone forever. Wow. Yeah. So go ahead.
My bad.
No, you're good.
No, so I have like an exact story just like that. So actually is a friend of mine, and I was helping him get ready for his first show. Yep. He called me, I think it was 3 weeks out. He called me and he sent me a picture first, and it was just like a picture of someone in like the office. Yeah. And then he called me. He's like, my wife's threatening to divorce me, bro. Like she went and seen a lawyer and talked to a lawyer today. She said if I do the show, she's gonna divorce me. I'm like, bro, I'm like, dude, you have 3 weeks, bro. At 3 weeks, she'll be done. And then you can
20 days, not 60 days, not 100 days, 20 days.
You can spend all the time in the world after, with her. And so, yeah, I think a lot of, a big problem too, I think is like you said, like a man will do, everything for his family, always put them first, never do nothing for himself. Then the first time he wants to do something for himself, like a bodybuilding show or whatever it is, their wife freak out because she's not used to that. And I think that's kind of selfish, to be honest. But
of course, yeah. And I see both sides of it. Like I understand, like whatever your relationship was past, like the past 5 years, it's not like you can just up and switch it up, especially if she likes you for this particular reason and vice versa. But the last thing I wanted to say about this, if we could switch topic, something, different was, he asked me my opinion. He said, Cody, I want 100% blunt opinion. What do you think about the situation? I was like, I see this 2 ways. Either one, you were on trend and you were treating her like shit. Maybe like she just, or you were being selfish against the kid and her. That is a genuine option. Option B is she was looking for some type of opportunity to divorce you anyway. So I was like, I'm not saying it's one or the other, but you asked my opinion, and for how quick or how extreme she's responding, like that's not unless there's something I'm missing, that's not a common response, right? So he's like, I never thought about that second one. I was like, do some research, bro. But that's as far as I'm going to go with this conversation. I
feel like that's it for sure. It has to be the second one. I could see them getting emotional and threatening it, but actually doing it. You wanted to do that for a while.
All right. So we got that covered. So getting into the next aspects. Also, tell the people when are you competing too? How soon are you?
So I am 14 days out or 13 days out right now.
Mm-hmm. So relatively soon. I could see it in the face. You could see the jawline coming out a little bit,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So getting to the social media aspect, and I know we talked about this off camera super quickly, but do you feel like people, how do I say this? They feel pressured to post a lot of content when they're shredded. And obviously when you're tired and worn out, you don't want to do that. Do you feel like people are pressured because the average person does not care if you're fat and strong. They care about you being shredded, aesthetic, veiny. Like that's what gets the views. Any insight on any of that?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. There's a lot of pressure to definitely post whenever you look your best, obviously, because that's what people want to see. They want to see the picture perfect, physique. So it's like if you have some body fat on you, it doesn't look as impressive, obviously. So there's definitely a lot of pressure, and it is rough because that's when you feel the worst. Like me personally, when I'm training 4 weeks out, like I don't want a camera in my face. You know what I mean?
No. And you don't, even like doing this episode, I'm sure that's not something you always look forward to, like obviously if you're a content creator, you have to continue pushing out content. Yep. And if you guys don't know this in the bodybuilding world, a lot of content creators or competitive bodybuilders, they will do, let's say 2 shows a year. So they're shredded 5 months of the year, 7 months they're bulking. They will take hundreds upon hundreds of videos, pictures, and they'll just recirculate that throughout the year. So it kind of just, has the engagement year round, which I agree with, that's something you should do. But it's just part of the territory, man. There's a lot of bodybuilders out there that they'll smoke you on show day, but you'll go to their social media, they posted one time in 6 months. So
yeah, exactly.
So, you got to be a good salesman and a good bodybuilder, but that's my 2 cents at least.
Yeah. When I first started in fitness, I actually stayed shredded for like 8 months straight just to get continuous content. I was miserable for 8 months straight.
I was going to say, how did that go for you? Mentally, physically, or were you natural or were you enhanced?
I was natural then.
Oh, so it was extra rough.
My levels were in the toilet.
Nice. Yeah. Don't do that, guys. Now, I love natural bodybuilding, but I also know like what actually goes on behind the scenes, how you feel bodybuilding. I encourage you guys to do your first show natural and just test out the waters.
Yeah. If you can do a natural prep, you can do an enhanced one.
When did you do your first bodybuilding show?
So I did my first bodybuilding show 2021.
Okay. And you were what age at that time? 19, 20?
I was 21. I think I was about to turn 21 in like 2 weeks.
Gotcha. And you were natural or enhanced at that first show?
Natural. I was natural my first show.
Do you feel like a lot of people should do their first show natural to even test out the water before going straight from, oh, hey, man, I've never ran gear before, I need test, trend, master to go do the show to place well?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so guys will hit me up, hey, man, I aspire to compete. I want to start my first cycle. And I'm like, hey, man, why don't you, do a natural show first? See if you even like it. You know what I mean? You might get up there and you might hate it. So it's like, why jump into that, assuming that that's what you really want to do?
Yeah. And for anybody watching or just in general, even we could talk about this, but I'm a couple years older than you, but I've had a lot of people I competed against in 2016, 2017, 2018. And I could think of one that's a pro that competes still. The rest are retired. Yeah. So like that was only like a 6 to 8 year run right there. And like none of those guys are ever going to compete again. They're done. They have wives, kids, families, jobs. So when people tell me they're like 18 to 21, like, oh, hey, Cody, I want to go like really pound gear hard for the next 2 years, get my pro card, get these sponsorships. I'm like, man, it's like a 5% chance that you continue competing once you hit about 28 to 30. Like and that's being generous. Yeah. And like, they just don't see it. I know that I'm older now, so I got the unk wisdom, but it's one of those things, man. Don't rush it.
Yeah. Yeah. And most of them are going to take gear for just 2 years and then turn pro.
Yes.
Like, they think they're going to hop on gear and then they're just going to go pro. Like it's a lot harder than that. It's not that simple.
I did a poll the other day. This is like within my own friend group and just like my buddies who know in the competing world. And I just asked them, how many cycles did it take you to turn pro? And then how many years in between? So let's just say on average, it was about 3 to 5 years for most of them competing before they got their pro card. The highest was 15 cycles. The lowest was about 7. So they did 7 to 15 full-blown 4 to 6 month cycles to get that pro card, whether it's men's physique, bodybuilding, classic. So if you're on your first cycle and this guy has 4 more years of competing and 13 more cycles than you, like, how do you think you're going to beat him? I guess it's just when you lay it out, people understand better. When they don't understand.
Yeah, 100%. You have to run gear for a long period of time to actually get to that high level physique. Like, you're not going to run one cycle. And, a lot of people run like their first cycle and then they get the results and they're like very underwhelmed by what they thought was going to happen.
Yep. And then how do I word this? I get that same scenario. I see the same scenario even from clients and people that reach out like, hey, I did this 16-week cycle just testosterone Anavar. Like, I think it's fake. I only put on a couple pounds. Like, my strength was decent. My sex drive was good. I'm like, no, I mean, you took 500 tests for 4 months. You put on like 4 or 5 pounds of muscle. You look great. Like, that's it.
That sounds about right.
Like, what did you want?
Exactly.
All right, cool. Getting into the next couple topics here. Let's see here. What made you go from just being like a gym bro or a guy that works out for fun? Did you play any sports first and then you switched over to bodybuilding? Were you always a gym rat, then you switched to bodybuilding? How did that go?
Yeah, so I was always an athlete growing up. I always played every sport, played basketball. I was supposed to go to junior college, and then I had a preferred walk-on from Wichita State for basketball. I didn't have the grades. And then I ended up just deciding to leave junior college because it was terrible.
I could see that.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Okay.
But I could dunk a basketball. I could 360 left hand.
That's the kind of content we need, bro. We need to see you shredded, and then you go like dunk a basketball or something. Now that might go viral, actually. Though.
I got a dunk peak bulk. I was like 238. I got a dunk in.
Nice.
And my knees hurt for like 3 weeks.
All right, so we got that covered. So you've done a show enhanced and you've done a show natural, correct?
Yes.
Just give us a quick breakdown. I'll talk about my insight too from a coaching standpoint, but like just explain to the people what is the difference that you saw in any regard.
Yeah, so there's a lot of differences. Doing my show natural, the energy levels were god awful. They were terrible. People talk about like roid rage. I felt like I had more roid rage when I was natural than enhanced, because whenever I was natural, I could tell all my levels were crashed because I was like a zombie. I had no emotion. I couldn't even feel anything. So being enhanced is definitely a lot easier just because your levels stay high. I mean, you have things that can help you. And then it's just a lot easier for me to get leaner enhanced. When I was natural, it just seemed like I couldn't get dry, so that's what I would say.
Really? Yeah. So following up to that, so I agree with all of that. The only thing I've seen differently was when you say dry, though, are you talking about like water manipulation dry? You're talking about just straight up body fat being shredded dry. What is your definition of dry here?
I'm saying more like body fat. Like it was just,
okay.
Couldn't get to that. I don't know. I couldn't get to that extra level of leanness. And I've seen a lot of natural guys be able to do it. But for me, for some reason, I think naturally my T3 runs a little low. So
what's your ethnic background? What's your ethnicity?
I'm just American and African American.
Okay. Got it. So I've had a couple, anything from like Native American to Indian to Hispanic. I just have certain ethnicities that like without trying to assume too much, I assume that they're going to have slow metabolism. There's something going to be very slow. And it is something I see time after time. My most gifted for just cutting only has to be Asian on the top, Brazilians usually up there, and then whites a 50-50. I know there's a million different types of the color white, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of white guys usually get pretty well, but those Asians and like those Brazilians, they don't got to do anything, bro. They get peeled.
Yeah.
But what I was asking with the conditioning part. So what I actually find harder sometimes when I work with enhanced guys is sometimes their body just is not getting rid of estrogen, or like we have them on anabolics with some compounds. Maybe it's fake. Maybe their body responds weird. Like they hold water. So now we're stuck trying to get them shredded, and we got to manipulate the water, and we got to dry them out. Versus when it's a natural guy, the worst we got to do is keep him alive. That's pretty much all we got to do. Like he's got to be shredded or he's going to be lean, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm someone that holds estrogen a lot, and just always hold a little bit of water.
Do you have to hit a bunch of like AI? You don't have to tell me the dosage, but you have to hit a bunch of AIs at the end and whatnot, or
I got to do at least a meg a day of a Remedex towards the end for sure.
Yeah, well, lucky for you, that's pretty common. I saw the I can't tell you who it is. It's Classic Physique Pro, so I assume 4, 5, 6% body fat. He had a Remedex 1 milligram a day, starting at 14 days out. It was letrozole every day. I think it was 2.5, and then Novadex 40 a day. I was like, I'm pretty sure like that's too much. You know, I don't mind pounding the AIs the last 10 days like it's common, but I was like, that's a lot. Like you probably had negative estrogen, you know, but I can't talk shit. That dude's butt cheeks were like see-through. He was so shredded. So again, I'm not agreeing with it, but if it works, it works, right?
Yeah, if it works, it works. Hell.
All right. Do you have any regrets about hopping on enhancements or just doing anything enhancement-wise, or did you make any mistakes early on in your PED world?
So no, a lot of people actually ask me about that, and no, I didn't. So I always had guidance from the beginning. Like I never tried to do it on my own. I always had, you know, a coach that knew what he was doing. So I did everything, you know, correct from the beginning, pretty much. Only problems I'd ever have is in the beginning, I didn't really know how to like monitor and mitigate blood pressure. So I would have high blood pressure and not even know it. I mean, that would really be the only thing, but I always had good guidance.
Nice. Yeah. No. Well, first off, that's 1 in a million. I don't hear that often. Even myself, I talk to everybody and they're like, oh no, my first cycle I did Tren with no testosterone base. I did like Anavar only for 6 months. It's like, holy shit. You know, I had guidance. I just had very poor guidance.
Oh, okay.
My first cycle was 500 test, 400 Tren E, and then 50 milligrams of D-ball. And he's like, this is a light cycle. And I was like, I believe you. You know, I believe you. Did it work really well? Yes. Was my liver crying for help? Yes. Was my blood pressure shot? Yes. Was my blood thick? Yes. And I didn't know how to fix any of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do that, guys. Have a coach or have a good friend who could guide you or something, you know?
Yeah. My first cycle was 350 test, 350 mast.
Oh, nice. That's one of the safer first cycles I've seen. Yeah. It's even under 400. It's under a gram of gear. That's pretty solid right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, what division do you compete in, by the way? Is it men's physique, classic, both? Okay.
Yep, classic. I'm right there.
Oh, I see in the back.
Last year.
Yeah, I saw the picture before. I saw on your profile or something. I was like, okay, he looks. I didn't know if you did both though.
Oh yeah, no, just classic.
If you had a higher likelihood of turning pro in men's physique, but your passion is classic, would you ever do that, or would you feel like if I don't turn pro in classic, I'm going to be unhappy?
No, I would do it, man. I tell people like, you know, your genetics is what determines what division you should be in. Like,
absolutely,
you know, because there's so many guys, man, they want to compete in classic, and I'm just like, bro, you would kill it in men's physique. You know, I've had clients, I'm like, and friends, I'm like, dude, you would kill it in men's physique. Like, I know you want to do classic, or they'll shit on men's physique and say, you know, little things. I'm like, dude, your genetics determine what you're going to be better at. Do you want to go lose every show because you want to do classic, or do you want to go win?
Yeah. No, I mean, I had the same conversation as you on a pretty weekly basis, if not a monthly basis. So it sucks because sometimes clients will take it as, I wouldn't say disrespect, but it's like they almost take it like you don't believe in them or something.
Yeah,
like, you don't believe in me that I could go to classic. Like, that's not what I said. I said that I think you're a better men's physique guy, and you want to get your pro card in the next year, or do you want to get your pro card in the next 5 years, or maybe you'll never get one at all. You know,
exactly.
We don't choose our genetics. We don't choose. And for me, genetically, my legs get big. They do not get cut. My legs are hideous in regards to just the details in the teardrop. So like my dream was over before it started in classic, you know, but I've had people that have the same issue as me. And they're like, hey, you know, like I had a motorcycle injury. So like, I can't grow my right quad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well then let's do men's physique. Oh, well, no, that's for wussies.
Yeah. It's funny when I started like trying to, you know, kind of get in competing and everything, I was a big Jeremy Buendia fan. So I wanted to do men's physique. I thought I was going to be a men's physique competitor. And then I got a coach and he's like, no, he's like, dude, you're classic. And for me, like I have unsymmetrical abs. Like I don't have good shoulder caps. Like men's physique would have been, you know, the best route for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I do encourage people, maybe at an amateur level, like if you're just so dead set on doing that division, let's just say you're a men's physique guy, you want to do classic, do both. You know, like I know the OCB you cannot, you're stuck with one, but if it's a natural show, I've had guys do both. I even had a guy a couple months ago, he wanted to do classic, and I was like, I think you're more men's physique. And the judge is like, no, you're open. We're just like, what the hell? We're both wrong. So he did men's physique and classic and open. He ended up winning the open division, which I didn't picture it, but I'm not the judge, that person was the judge that show. So either way. All right. So getting next topic here. What are your thoughts about peptide versus steroids? Have you done many peptides? I know we've talked about it briefly and all that, but any thoughts at all?
Peptides versus steroids?
Yeah, just anything at all. The future of the future of peptides or peptide versus steroids, anything you've liked, disliked, anything at all?
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to peptides, I think, there's a lot of useful ones. I mean, depending on what you need them for. And they can be very beneficial. I'm utilizing some peptides right now on prep, utilizing the Retta a little bit, MOTC, Retta, MOTC, SLUPP, I guess, see that peptide. Yeah. So I've been using those, and I've definitely seen benefits from them. I feel like my overall energy has been way better than previous preps. Of course, the Retta, obviously is going to help, appetite suppressant and things like that. I feel like, where the real gains are is always going to be the steroids, though.
Yeah, of course.
That's where the real gains are at the end of the day.
Yeah, leading into it. And I try not to be biased. My company drops in a week, hopefully. But I try not to be biased about peptides. But it's like I still love steroids. Nothing is going to beat steroids in terms of building muscle, maintaining muscle in that massive deficit, or things like trying to make you just have this crazy 3D look. That's not what they are. But I think the MOTC, I never knew how to pronounce the SLUPP. I don't know how to pronounce it. SLUPP, whatever it is. I call it SLUPP. I've seen some amazing things. Like people have this crazy endurance. They have better like muscular cardio endurance that they wouldn't normally have. They're burning fat quicker. So there's a lot of compounds that like we didn't have these 5 years ago. Like if you were not cutting weight quick enough, we had Clen, we had T3, ephedrine. Like those are still key. They work really good, but nothing has ever been as good as Retta, Ozempic, any of those. How even Olympia this year, I talked to a handful of coaches and competitors. They were saying this was one of the easiest Olympias in history. And Arnold and the Olympia this year, because people were using Retta or Trizepatide or whatever they were using, because now they could diet. They weren't cheating. Their food noise was gone. Maybe they had a little bit of constipation and gut health issues from the GLP-1, but they were able to get shredded. Like that's insane. A single compound changed the entire projection of bodybuilding. That's quite insane when you think about it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, dude. I mean, it's extremely effective. I mean, even utilizing it with clients, like it just makes it so much easier. You have guys that just have such a hard time with cravings and, they're always cheating and, you add that in and all of a sudden this guy you had been having trouble with for 3 months trying to get him to drop weight finally starts going down. So it's been very effective, man.
I think the main thing I've seen, everything you said, I agree with that too. Leading into one last thing is and you coach too. So like, when a client's cheating, but they're not telling you, you can't always tell, but I know for a fact, there's a couple of instances you're like, you gained 7 pounds this week. That doesn't happen, right? Maybe a pound, maybe 2, sometimes with female clients or women clients, that could happen hormonally. But like if someone's gaining 15 pounds a week, that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
I noticed as I started implementing a little bit more Retta or GLP-1s to some of my bigger clients, magically, all those numbers are more consistent. Not a single binge eating disorder, not a single one like, you said you weren't cheating. And then a couple come forward like, oh yeah, man, I was having a bologna sandwich at 3 a.m. every day. And like, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was just something so random because they were craving it. Right. So GLP-1 to the future. That's all I wanted to say.
100%.
What is your favorite? It could be steroid, peptide, fat burner. Just what is your favorite? Pick 1 or 2. Anything that you've noticed, just this insane change in physique or the way you felt.
I got to say EQ, something about me and EQ. I think a big part of it is because I'm just such a high aromatizer. And it's like, even in the off season, I would try my best not to pound, aromatase inhibitors. Yes. And I would just always have to, just to, not get gyno flare up or not to have like a stupid moon face and be super emotional. Using EQ, it really controlled my estrogen really well. And then I'm not a big eater. Off season is always the hardest for me, just getting food down, and EQ really enhanced my appetite a lot. So I'd say EQ for me is great. And then other than that, I would have to say, give me really good results. I would say T3, because I didn't know for a long time that my T3 levels, like my thyroid levels, were low, and I would do preps, and it's just like be doing 2 hours of cardio, 0 carbs for a week straight, and I just couldn't drop fat. And then finally, I got a coach, and we done blood work, and my T3 was really low. We implemented that in my prep, So much easier.
Instant change.
Instant.
Do you know how you could tell when someone's like advanced in the fitness industry or just the bodybuilding world versus someone who's a rookie? People will hear what you just said and say that that's not true. That's how you know that they're a rookie. You know, like I've done this so many times, and there's been times like we did everything right. I know they're not cheating. They're doing the cardio. We're dieting hard, but like their thyroid just shot, you know, whether it's genetics, whether it's just they used to be overweight, you know, whatever the reasoning is. And people on the internet be like, no, he's cheating. No, he's not doing the cardio. No, he's not training. It's like, I promise you, some of these guys are doing anything and everything to lose weight, and they needed a T3 or a T4 or both of them together. And whatever the reasoning is, maybe they're on trend and they need T4, but it's like, it works. And they're like, well, no, bro, calories in versus calories out. And I was like, that's how you know you're a rookie. That's how you know you're new.
Exactly.
All right. So getting into that, picking my compounds, and this is something you might want to try on your own free time. So not steroid wise, peptide wise, I've had a lot of guys start implementing, instead of pounding a bunch of GH all the time, I'll use IGF-1 LR3, and then I'll use PEG MGF, which together, it's like a really synergistic, like mass building, pumps, fullness, recovery. Like it's one of my favorites without getting into actual steroids. So PEG MGF, I'm going to be carrying that. I've been talking about it forever. I'm trying to get them in a blend together. That's going to be a combo. But
IGF LR3 and PEG MGF.
Yeah, it's a PEG MGF.
Okay, MGF.
And then regular IGF-1 LR3 is the other one. But those two peptides together without getting into steroids, that is one hell of a combo in the offseason. I love that combo.
Really? Okay, cool. Yeah, you put me on today, man.
Absolutely, yeah. Anybody watching, look it up. I can't tell you how to use it. It's illegal, but look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. I guess just a general thing. How long have you been in the fitness industry for, or what you consider being in the fitness industry?
I would say 7 years.
Okay, pretty long then.
That I've been into it. I've been, you had those spurts when you first kind of started. You post a gym photo here and there.
Of course.
But the goal was to always get to where I am now. So I've been working on that consistently for years.
Nice. So what would you say about the current state of the fitness industry? I've always been pretty open about this. I'm definitely not happy with it sometimes, but how do you feel about it in any aspect? It could be the influencers. It could be coaches coaching coaches. It could be the science-based lifters. Just what is something that you maybe like, something that you feel like needs to get better, something you dislike, just anything at all?
Yeah. So I'll say what I like and don't like. I'll say I do like that it's getting a lot more transparent. People are being a lot more honest about the real stuff and what's really going on and how people are really achieving their physiques. And I would say what I don't like about it. What do I not like? I don't like a lot of the new science-based stuff. I definitely kind of find it annoying. And I don't know. What do I not like about it? I'm gonna have to bounce this one off you.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, mine's and when I say this, like bodybuilding and contest prep, like I have a master's degree. Like I went to school. I understand the science. I understand it more than the average person. And when they cherry pick these studies, bro, it just pisses me off so much. It'll be like, this study right here says that you need to do the tricep extension with your arm in a goddamn foam roller.
Yes.
Like that's clearly not what the study said. The study said having it at this particular angle and having this amount of time under tension is best for this whatever load. And it's like they cherry pick it, they reword it to like fit their whatever their narrative is that they're pushing, if that makes sense. So
100%.
Most coaches are science-based. We don't just like pick these ideas out of our head, right?
Yeah. No, my brain shuts off a lot of the times when I come across videos like that. I just don't even listen to them.
Nah, I honestly, I just think it's rage bait sometimes. Like, I don't know, because I don't know some of these people in real life. I know Sebastian, TNF, like I know what they're saying, like they mean it. But some of these people, I'm like, there's no way he's serious. Or is he serious? I don't know. I'm not going to ask him, but.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is rage baiting for sure. I seen a dude make a video about how like aromatase inhibitors are perfectly fine and healthy. And if someone's telling you they're not healthy, then they don't know what they're talking about or something. And he did he showed all these studies and articles and all this stuff. I was like,
yeah, tell that to your cholesterol, tell that to your emotions, tell that to, your organs processing it. Yeah, there's not, I really dislike, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, but I try to not give just like straight statements of like, it's this or no way. Like it has to be correct, because it's not true. I've seen millions of instances where it's like, okay, it's a little weird. I don't know why that's happening. Oh, okay. Well, it's not like it went against what my belief was,
Yeah, 100%.
Never stop learning. You always have to have an open mind if you want to be a contest prep coach or a coach in general. I mean, even a competitor, you have to be open-minded. But I guess what I was leading into, I guess my one outside of I'm joking about the science-based lifters aspect, but like a serious note is like the transparency is what I want to bounce off you. What you were saying, the transparency. Do you think that it's getting too transparent? Doesn't make sense. I was going to say, does it make sense that it's too transparent that now people in younger demographics, like 14 to 18, now see what, let's say you document your whole stack and you have a pro card and like, yo, this is crazy shit. They're going to see what you did, copy it word for word, and they're going to want to do that, and they could get hurt very badly. So do you think there's such a thing as too much transparency, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so that's definitely the issue with it, because I had a kid 13 years old like message me like 2 days ago talking about, hey, I'm going to take this peptide stack. What do you think? Or I have 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I'm going to take this. What do you think? And I'm like, man, when I was 16 and 13 years old, like I wasn't even thinking about this type of stuff. Like, these kids, they're ready to pin test at 16. I'm like, it's just crazy. So it's like, it's tough because, being open about it, people get more educated, they learn more. But at the same time, the younger guys that, are easily influenced, it definitely, you're kind of giving them the game that they really shouldn't have.
Yeah, no, I agree with that entirely. And I mean, we're older than a average 18 to 20 old, right? So we've seen the fads and what it was like. So I got my first contract in 2016, pretty decent money. They would pay for my shows, travel, things like that. I got a monthly stipend of supplements, but in my contract said, do not say anything racist, homophobic, whatever, like obvious things, right? But then under that said, do not ever talk about performance enhancers, recreational use, gambling, drinking, pretty much all the things that like the fitness industry is based on right now. It was in my contract. If you said any of that, you're cut. There's no negotiations. They monitor your content. People would report you. And now when I see videos of like a bodybuilder promoting gambling and where to buy steroids, and here's my source, here's this, it's like, it just blows my mind how it's changed in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, for sure. I will say I'm not a fan of like the degenerates. Like that is one thing about the fitness industry. Like the degenerate people, like I'm not a fan of those guys. I will say that those are the type of influencers that I don't know. I don't think they're like an asset, to the community in any way.
Yeah, I know there's such a thing as like coaches, competitors, fitness influencers are kind of their own category sometimes, but then we have like this really awkward category where it's just all rage bait content, or like it's just all this super out of pocket stuff that goes viral. And you're like, this did not help me. This took away brain cells me watching it. But I see why like a younger demographic would watch it. It's like when I was a kid watching Jackass, I thought it was hilarious. I'm not going to go copy them, but like there'll be people doing crazy shit and then kids will copy them. Or they'll ask me like, I don't want to say who it is. It's relatively obvious who it is, but an individual was promoting gambling and steroids. It's like, oh, he dropped his cycle, so I ordered test, primo, and GH. It's like, but you said you were a senior in high school. It's like, well, he did it. He has $1 million contract.
Exactly. So
okay.
Yeah, that's I would say that's the problem in the fitness industry for sure.
All right. Let's see here. Just one competing aspect of it. How do you feel about when people say like the bodybuilders were better in like 70? I know we weren't even alive in the 70s or 80s, but when people like the old school bodybuilding is better than new school, they had tighter waist, they were better conditioned versus now Mass Monsters or Men's Physique 2012 versus 2025. What do you think of the evolution? Do you agree that the evolution is where it needs to be and you like it? Or you think that the divisions are outgrowing what they're supposed to be? Any insight about any of that?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I would say, for the most part, I like, where bodybuilding is today in the divisions, Men's Physique, Classic, Open. I think Open's, getting a lot more, back to aestheticness. That's the guys that are winning. So I think it's in a pretty good spot. At the end of the day, like it's supposed to be the best in the world, so it's, I think it's pretty much where it's supposed to be. I think back then, a lot of those physiques were a lot more, especially like early Men's Physique and early Classic Physique. It just wasn't like, they were great physiques, but it just wasn't, at the highest level, I feel like.
No, even so leading on to that, when I was competing, so I'd get dusted nowadays, by the way. So the physique I brought to stage was enough to win in LA, San Diego, like big cities that were big in bodybuilding. I was able to win shows and win overalls. Now, when I look at overall winners, I'm like, bro, this is like what a 2017 Olympia competitor looked like, and this is at an amateur show. some of these shows, man, I'm like, man, these, and I talk to some of them sometimes, like they'll buy a phone consultation with me, or maybe I have a mutual friend just like interview them or something. And some of these guys have been on steroids since 16. They'll be 21, but they've been on steroids since 16. I was like, so, but some of them were doing 1 cycle a year. Some of them were doing 2. I'm like, man, these guys are 10 cycles in and they're 21, 22. Like, I thought they were just genetic phenoms, which they are obviously, but 10 cycles will transform relatively anybody within reason, right? Man.
Oh yeah. I want to ask you about that, right? Because I was talking to someone about this. So, it's like, usually when someone starts gear earlier, they usually reach their peak earlier, and they usually, retire earlier. Yeah. But do you think there's an aspect of it, like if you start a little younger, your body can handle more versus starting, when you're 30? Like health-wise.
Yeah. So from a scientific standpoint, I don't know. Like from an actual like science-based, like physiological, like is something better at taking from 16 to 18 versus 25 to 28? That I don't know. But I would just say our brains are just not fully matured at a very young age. And like certain compounds are neurotoxic. You're poisoning the way your brain is operating and the way you perceive things, specifically the tremboloni sandwiches, right? Yeah. So I just don't know. Would I encourage it? No. I had one client against my wishes. He did it anyway. Obviously got kicked off the team, but he found out that his growth plates didn't close. He was like 16, 17 years old. So his doctor's like, oh, hey, by the way, your growth plates are not closed. He's like, can I do HGH? The doctor's like, I wouldn't suggest you to do it. You could, but don't do it. I was like, I feel like that's not what the doctor told you, but he did it. Did he get taller? He did. He was growing by pounding insane amounts of HGH. Now, I'm genuinely concerned. Did that do something to his body when he's not meant to be 6'3", when he should have been like 5'11"? Like, what did that do to him? But steroid-wise, I just think that even if you have a coach or sometimes you're educated, sometimes that's just not enough. From like 16 to 19 years old, I'm sure that we did things in life we didn't mean to, or we did it unintentionally, made a mistake. And when you're doing things that could permanently shut you down forever, I just don't think it's a wise decision. But no, I would say a lot of competitors did start about 18. That's not a joke. That's not a lie. That does happen. Yes.
Yeah. I got you, man. Yeah, I agree.
Would I do it? No. Would I condone it? No. But to say that people did not do that and they weren't successful would be a lie. I can't, maybe you know his name, but the 22-year-old guy in classic physique, he took 4th or 5th at the Olympia. He's like 22, 23. I'm like, what age did he start, bro? What age did he start to make it to that big at the Olympia? Like how young?
Yeah. When I first seen him, I thought he was like 30.
Yeah. Late 20s at earliest. Late 20s at least.
This dude's 21. I was like, what in the world, man?
That's,
Yeah, he started young.
All right. So getting into a little bit more coaching aspect, or from a coach standpoint, no longer competing. So what do you do if a client of yours, I'm assuming you coach enhanced people as well. What do you do if a client of yours wants to become enhanced? Is there a protocol you have them do, lab work, physical? Do you have the final say? Did they have the final say? Just give me a quick breakdown so people know when they reach out to coach, what do they expect when they're natural first?
Yeah. So they have to get blood work done first, of course, to see where everything's at. I don't like guys that are very overweight starting a cycle either. I usually have guys, if they want to start their first cycle, they need to lean down first. They need to get some body fat off. But definitely blood work, just to see where everything's at. I want to know like their family history. Is there any, do you have any, heart disease running in your family or whatever it is? I like to know those things as well to say, hey, this might not be worth it for you at the end of the day. For me, though, a lot of times I tell them like it is your decision at the end of the day, because they'll ask me, do you think I should do it? And I'm like, brother, this is your decision. This isn't, no one can make this decision for you. You need to do your research. You need to think about the long-term things and decide if it's a good decision for you.
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I agree with that. And then leading on to that, are kind of just adding a couple things to it. So I do the same thing. But I make it mandatory so not that they need to look it up, but I make sure that they ask their mom or dad or grandparents, like, hey, is there any crazy health issues we need to know about, right? Yeah. So I had one, he was maybe early 20s, 23, 24. And he found out that his dad had some weird testicular cancer. His great grandfather had it. And I think his great grandfather had some other like cancer. I'm like, man, I don't think this is in your cards to run growth hormone or IGF-1. Like I try to take little things like that. Obviously, it's not a guarantee they're going to grow cancer or going to die. That's not what I mean. But if there was even a 20% chance, would you take that knowing that you could cause your cancer to grow quicker and you get testicular cancer at 25? Like, is it worth it? Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Little things like that. And that's why it bothers me when influencers or coach, anybody will make this super blanket statement like one cycle will not hurt, or like GH is healthy, or like peptides have no side effects. Like, you're not going to inject something in your body and think there's not some type, even if it's minimal, some type of risk that is there. So that's my rant pretty much.
Yeah.
Always got to do the lab work. Always got to double check their health history and things like that. It's important, but pretty much what I got for you in that regard.
Yeah, it's not in everybody's cards at the end of the day. So
no. All right. So we got that. Let's see here. What do you feel like is the most rewarding part of being a coach? Is there any just one story or something that sticks out to you, or is it just kind of all the above? You just enjoy helping people the way that your coach helps you and so on?
Yeah, man. So I'd say like the most rewarding part of being a coach is like just seeing people getting in shape that it just changes their lives. Like, you see a guy when he first starts working with you, he's super timid and you can tell the confidence is low. Next thing you know, he's posting shirtless pictures on Instagram. So it's like, you just see the whole confidence shift and, it changes his life because it bleeds into every other area. I've had guys, mess me, telling me I changed their life. I've had guys' wives message me, talk about how much their husband's mental health is improved, just stuff like that. I mean, it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah. And people, and the only reason I ask you that is because over the years I've had people ask me the same question and they're shocked by my answer. So my answer is similar to yours. And they're like, but you got the guy a pro card in the natural league. You got him an IPB pro card. And it's like, that's an accomplishment. But for someone who's like, for the last 3 years, couldn't see their wiener, like that's a whole different, type of goal or something. Or like I had one guy comes to mind. I don't condone his actions, by the way, but he had told me he was he just graduated college, maybe like 23, 24. He didn't have one date with a girl all through college, not one. Like not whether she was unattractive, he couldn't even land one. He was very overweight, incredibly just I guess you could say no confidence, for lack of a better word, right? So no confidence, overweight guy, and he couldn't get a date. So I remember we worked together. It was about 3 months in. He's like, yeah, I'm getting attention from my coworkers. I don't know what job he had. He had like a sit down job, but he was saying like he's getting attention from girls, like complimenting him, saying, oh, your jawline's looking better. Your pants are looking better, whatever it is. And he's like, hey, one asked me on a date, what do I do? What do you mean? And he didn't tell me about like his past, trauma of like asking girls out and they laughed in his face. He didn't tell me that, right? He told me that he, hadn't got a date. So like he has all these girls throwing them at himself, and he didn't know what to do. Like he didn't have the people skills to talk to women. And fast forward like 6 months, I didn't help him with this, by the way. He's like, bro, I'm just running through girls left and right. I was like, holy shit. Whoa. That's not what I was expecting, but it's also to be expected. Someone that like didn't get laid for 5 years finally has attention of the opposite sex. Like some crazy shit's probably going to happen. So he calmed down later, but just thought it was a really funny story, And I don't know. It means a lot to help someone with their life,
Yeah, man. I have a couple stories like that. I have one of my first like really good transformations. My client, he sent me his first like 3 check-ins with his shirt on, and I'm like, hey man, I need you to take the shirt off when you do check-ins. And I remember my little brother was with me, and I'd show him like, dude, he's sending me check-ins with his shirt on. And then like 4 months later, he's posting shirtless pictures on his Instagram story. And we just thought that was the funniest thing ever. And then I had another client. He came to me. He hadn't had sex with his wife in 5 years. And
damn,
he had 4 coaches before me. And I was like, dude, it was obviously at low testosterone. Just talking to him, his voice was so, I was like, this dude definitely has low test. He got it checked. His testosterone levels were 74. I said, yeah.
That's beyond low. That's shut down.
That's nothing. So he got on TRT, and then he calls me like a month later. He's like, man, he said, me and my wife been going at it like when we first got together and stuff like that. So it's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's extremely rewarding, man.
Yeah. And anybody who wants to be a coach, by the way, these aren't uncommon conversations.
No.
People think that we only deal with bodybuilders, and they're just like soldiers that they're like, oh, here's my diet, training, cardio. I got it, coach. Like I don't need any other help. Most of our job is like, we're their psychologists, psychiatrists, like we're half their doctor sometimes, we're their friend. And it's like, there are times that maybe they cross the line and share a little bit too much. Like, did my client need to tell me that he got gonorrhea the other day? No, he didn't have to tell me that, but he felt that it was necessary to tell me. So, you know, I'm just so numb to hearing really out of pocket things. I'm like, you know what? Sure. I'll help you.
Yeah, me
You know?
too, man. Me too.
All right. Let's see here. Getting the next couple topics. Do you feel like the fitness industry or the coaching industry is getting overly saturated?
Yeah,
Now, versus maybe a couple years ago in any aspect.
100%, man. 100%. Just because I would say like 70% of my clients come to me from other coaches. And other coaches usually just don't know anything what they're doing. So it's like, you know, everyone's a coach now. You know, anybody that builds a following, hey, how can I monetize it? I'm going to be a coach. Even though they don't have a genuine passion for coaching and they don't know anything or really, they just don't have a genuine passion for it. You know, they're just trying to make some money. So I think it's definitely becoming oversaturated, and people are definitely, you know, going to have to start being able to filter coaches out as far as like when someone goes to hire someone, like you need to do some background research on the coach. Like, you know, don't just hire a guy because he looks good.
Yeah. No, I've told people that before. Like, obviously, I can't get super jacked on my own for health issue reasons, but I've had people be like, it's between you and this guy. I was like, but he's not a coach. Like, that guy is like, he's just an influencer. Like, exactly. Yeah, but he has 600,000 followers. He's jacked. It's like, you know what, bro? I think he's actually a better coach than me. You should go to him. You know, like go if you can't differentiate between like that. And I'm, you know, I haven't gone to your. Do you have a team page, like a client page, or is everything on your main page? How do you show your client testimonials?
I have my coaching page and I have like my spam page.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was getting at is like, I have my main page, I have my car page, and I have my client page. And I was like, just go look at my client page, or like go look at their client page. If they don't have some type of clientele that they could show, like it might not be that great, you know? Like,
dude, I will, you know, they'll hire somebody and have a bad experience. I'm like, I'll go look at their page. I'm like, dude, there's not a single even client transformation on here. Like, what made you hire?
Why did you choose them? And I've asked that same question, same scenario. And do you know what they said? They what is it called? Hard closing. It's like they made them feel like if they didn't say yes right now, that like they would never get another chance. And I tell people at times, like, bro, think of it for a couple of days. You know, like what if I don't even want to work with you? I need a day to think of it too. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just if someone tries to press you and say, you have an hour before I give her spot away, like this offer is going to be like invalid. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
you
know?
100%. I'm sure you're busy. I'm busy. We could always get you in at some point. It may take a week to get you on the team or something, but like, you have more than an hour to decide. That's insane.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
Right. Before I move on to anything up, we start finishing up. Is there any question you have for me? Any topics you want to discuss? Anything that we didn't touch on so far?
So what would you say is your least favorite part of coaching?
This may sound insane, but sometimes being honest, and what that means is like, I'm not talking about being honest, like, hey bro, this is how many pounds we have to lose. Just being honest, like you did not respond to the cycle good. Like your genetics are not, I usually have them do 2 cycles. I make sure I know where the source came from. We test it. And then it comes back. They still made no gains. I'm very sorry, but like, you don't have the genetics to be a pro bodybuilder. There's nothing we can do that you're going to be a pro bodybuilder in this lifetime. And like, they get so offended. And in the beginning, it bothered me. I never lied to them, but like, it bothered me. Now it's like, I'm pretty numb to it. You know, like it's not my job to lie to them to make them feel better. They paid me. They asked a genuine question. I'm going to give them a genuine answer. So usually that probably kicking people off if they break rules is like sad, but I mean, I have very few rules. Disrespecting me, disrespecting their fellow teammates, to like giving my plan to other people, like things like that are a big one for me. It might just be me, is like reaching out to other coaches to get a second opinion on something right before a show just drives me crazy.
Oh, man.
You know, like when have I ever brought someone fat on stage? I'm offended that you would even think I'd make you look bad on stage, you know? So I think just that being honest, and then like having to remove people from the team, even if you like them, you know, like whether we're friends or not, you did something that you shouldn't have done. So that might just be a me thing, but anything in your aspect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would say just the guys that, you know, they either question everything you do or they do their own thing. You know, they don't follow the plan. They'll add this in or take that away or do this different, and they don't tell you. And then they're wondering why they're not getting the results we're looking for.
Yes. Have they ever blamed you?
Yes. I've definitely had, it's only happened probably, you know, 2 or 3 times, but I'm like, dude, you haven't followed what I told you to do. You don't check in every week, and you think that it's my fault you're not getting results. Like, dude, what?
I have one. This was like 2023. I didn't post about this because they both pissed me off in their own way, but they were brothers. One was like 23, one was 22, so close together. One of them was just locked in. Like I'm talking like perfect. The other one was not. And they had similar genetics, same mom, same dad. Like they had very similar genetics and everything was pretty on point. And I don't know what happened. The brother, one of the brothers, the locked in one was locked in the whole time. The one that was not locked in was just, he was getting worse, getting softer, not losing weight. And this dude would just send me voice notes like, what the fuck, Cody? I'm not looking good. It's like, you just told me you had a Costco rotisserie chicken and like a chicken bake 2 days in a row because you couldn't get your meal and you skipped cardio. And like, he just kept blaming me and trying to gaslight me. And I try to tell people like there are, and I should have kicked him off at the time. I didn't. I wasn't as strict as what I am now, but like I kept coaching him. I brought him on stage. He looked like dog shit. So I know, peak, we've done peak week before. There may be days you limit sodium and maybe days you do high sodium, whatever it may be. I had a lower sodium day planned because I had a particular goal I was trying to accomplish. He had a rotisserie chicken, 15 grams of creatine and like some other random like caramel macchiato something. He just had these random things like 2 days out from the show. I was like, who the hell told you to do that? He's like, oh, I saw it on Reddit. It's like, well, okay, but like your plan's in front of you, like his brother did really good and then he did really bad. And then like, obviously the brother who locked in did good and he did bad. And then both brothers cussed me out saying like, you ruined his look. I don't want to work with you even if I look good. I was like, you guys are both delusional. So that's usually it. Yes. Changing things and then blaming you is like top tier insane to me.
Oh my goodness, dude.
So that's my story, though.
Well, that's
as you get your next 6 years in the coaching world, you'll have a lot of stories too, man. You'll have a couple per year every year.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
All right, so this is one of my last couple questions. Then anything you want to ask me or anything you want to just kind of finish up on, but how long do you think you have in the competing world in regards to? I know you want a pro card. Obviously, everybody wants a pro card, but once you turn pro, is this something you see yourself like? This is what I want to do. I'd rather be a competitor than a coach. Do you like coach more than competing? Just where do you see yourself once you get that pro card?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would like to do both ideally. I would like to do both in a perfect world. I do always tell people, I talk to my wife, if I had to choose between being a competitor or being a coach, I would be a coach, any day of the week. I love competing. It's my passion and I'm going to take it as far as I can. But if I get to the pro level and I'm like, okay, I just don't have what it takes, then, I'm not going to be, super hurt about it. You know what I mean? Because I love coaching. I have a genuine passion for coaching. Like I said, if I had to choose one or the other, I would be a coach.
100%. No, I'd have the same answer. My dream is to have a pro card, not to be a pro. Just different levels to it, different goals.
Yeah.
I think the average person, you probably understand this, but like, it's hard to explain to people that people are willing to die to be a professional bodybuilder. Like they genuinely will die. Like they don't care. I don't know if you've had one of these. At some point you will as a coach, but I'll get guys typically older as in 30 plus. They're usually not younger. They're usually older. And they'll tell me straight up, like, I'm willing to die for this prep. I'm like, that's cool. I'm not willing to kill you for this prep. So what do you mean?
Yeah.
So I've noticed not everyone, but I'd say over half of anybody who says that sentence to me, that phrase, ends up doing extra cardio, extra anabolics, extra peptides. They do something on top of what I give them because they're just so dead set in that like they can do something to speed up the process, which again, you can't. Maybe a couple extra 100 milligrams of masteron a week might make you look tighter, yes. But if you're still fat and have terrible genetics, it's not going to work. So that's usually just it. That's as far as I want to go with it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And when you actually I've actually been around like top level pros and stuff and see how they live their life. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know if I can live in a box and, my whole life is bodybuilding, like the way that they do it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm that committed. You know what I mean?
A lot of them are single, man. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of bodybuilders, regardless of what age, whether they're 18, whether they're 40, a lot of bodybuilders are single.
100%.
Even like the only time I've seen it work, and sometimes this backfires too, is like they'll have this super out of shape wife that kind of just like is super supportive and like they're just polar opposites. And like, it doesn't matter. It's not about the looks, not about whatever. It's like they get each other. She's the loving one, the supportive one, the emotional one, the cooking one. He's the hardcore bodybuilder. She shows him off to all her friends how she has this stud boyfriend or husband. And like, I don't make the rules. It's just something I see on a pretty common basis.
Yeah, that's me, man. I'm the trophy husband.
There you go. You know, it's a real thing. Some girls like showing off, like, this is my husband. Check him out. Like, they get off on that shit. You know, some guys get off on it too. You know, it's not, you know, it's what it is. But where was I going with this? I was getting connected to something. On the flip side, a lot of people think that competitors can date each other. And in theory, you would think that's true, but sometimes you're both moody. You're both are like different seasons. One of you cutting and one of you bulking. Like, you guys just butt heads and kill each other the whole year, and then it doesn't work out. So people are like, oh, they don't work out, we can't date. Some of the best relationships I see in the fitness industry, the girlfriend doesn't work out or the boyfriend doesn't work out, and just the one person does. Not saying that's everybody, but just don't be scared to. If you see a girl that you find attractive, guys, she may not be in shape. She might be the one for you. You know, she might be the one.
My wife doesn't work out at all. My wife is like, she's super petite. She's like 115 pounds. Yeah. But she doesn't work out at all. I couldn't imagine if she did, because she cleans the house, cooks my food, takes care of the, our 2-year-old son and all that. So if we were both trying to compete, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, is she a stay-at-home wife?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have to work?
Yeah.
Do you think that she would have and what I'm getting into this? So first off, congrats. I love that. I always like that dynamic.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
But do you think that it would be different if either you made less money or she was forced to work and you wanted to really put all this energy and whatnot into bodybuilding? Do you think that it would be a different type of relationship, or she might not respond as positively, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, my wife would do anything for me. She would work and she would support me doing it, but it would be such a hard journey. Like, people understand, like, bodybuilding and competing is expensive. Like,
oh yeah,
you have to make, I feel like you have to make good money to like try to be a pro or top level pro. Like, you have to make good money, man. Like, if you're struggling to get by, I talked to a guy in the gym the other day and he wanted to do nationals. He's like, I got to pull out, man. Like, if I do the show, I'm going to get behind on my mortgage. Like, I can't afford the growth and all that. And it's like, dude, you got to make good money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this isn't like baseball, football, where it's like, oh, cool, I got a $300 baseball bat and a $300 glove, I'm set for the next 3 years. It's not like that. The food alone, you're already talking about what? $500 a week, maybe. I mean, it could be cheaper depending how you buy it. But like, if you're like a big guy needing high quality grass-fed meat, you're looking at $500 a week easily. Yeah. The growth,
supplements, gear, growth.
Yeah.
You got to get your
lab work, medical insurance,
your hotel, your Airbnb, your show fees, your tanning, like, man.
Yeah. I made a video, it was early this year, and like I gave a genuine breakdown, because everybody's like, oh, it only costs like $1,000 to compete. And I was like, bro, my clients pay me almost $500 a month. Like, that's already $2,000 before the show even started, Yeah. So, exactly. And I think when I added everything up, it was on average about $4,000. Like, that's for like a 16-week prep. That's paying the coach, that's travel, that's with gear. And I was like, oh, wait, that's without gear. You got it in the growth home. And now you're at about $5,500 now, So if you don't have about at least $3,000 to $4,000 set aside for that prep, you might be shocked of what it really costs as an enhanced bodybuilder. Natural, maybe not, but you get the idea.
My first show was natural, and I had to get a loan to pay for my first show and go do it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I took out a $2,000 Stripe loan to do that show.
How much do you have to pay interest on that when you pay it back, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've had a few people ask me, they ended up dropping out, but they asked me, like, should they do that? Should they do it? And I'm like,
that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. If it was nationals and like, I knew without any doubt that they would be a pro, I would say, I think you should. Like, I don't agree with it, but I think you're going to turn pro. Now, the guy who'd asked me, like, he was a first-time competitor, lost like 50 pounds. He was going to get maybe 3rd to 5th place at the NPC show. It's like, absolutely not. I was like, no, absolutely not. You're not taking $1,000 loan out when you said that, like, you have no money to feed your wife and kid. Absolutely no shot in hell.
Yeah, I was 20 at the time. I lived with my grandparents. So
it's just different. Maybe you can't lose your house or your relationship or your car because you want to do a bodybuilding show, bro. So no. I think delusion definitely runs deep in our industry in many different pathways. It's pretty much it. But
100%.
So that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. I pretty much don't have much more. Is there any final topic, anything that's trending in the industry, anything you want to finish up on at all, or anything you want to know about me and for anything?
I've been following you for a while, man. I've been following you for years, man. I always kind of looked up to you. I do appreciate you, getting me on here, man. So
absolutely.
But man, I can't really think of nothing on top of my head right now, man.
Yeah. I mean, we jumped 30 different categories. So I feel like we're here everything we wanted to. So no, well, first off, just want to say thanks for hopping on. I did want to, I know my last question. I can't forget my last question. I ask everybody this: if you can go back in time and tell your younger self one tip of advice or one phrase, one tip of advice, anything, what would it be? Could be any age, can be any tip, can be any topic. What would it be if you could think of anything?
If I could think of anything, tell my younger self.
Yep. Any field, could be fitness, can be anything at all.
Find a good coach when I first started.
I like that.
If I would have had a coach when I first started, that would have been great.
Would have made light years more progress.
Yep.
Instead of just, I don't know who your first coach was, but you probably would have made better progress.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. I tell people this all the time too. And it's like, I'm pretty honest. My prices are not hidden. Like my prices are on my website. They can't afford to be like, hey man, like if I find some of this $200, I'll give them to you, but they're usually, I don't know how much you charge.
I charge more than 200.
Yeah. So on average though, it's usually about $300 to $500 a month. Like that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
And sometimes people reach out like, hey, like I have $100 a month. I'm like, bro, go buy my fat loss book. Like most coaches have something that they created that's their style broken down to a book. Buy that $40, $50, and that's pretty much the best I could offer you. Because besides that, bro, you ain't gonna get a good coach for $100 that I know of.
Yeah, anything under 250, even 250, anything under 250, man, I don't think you're gonna find someone that knows. You might, but it's gonna be hard.
They would be new.
Yeah, they would be new. Exactly.
Either they're new or they have some type of like coaching pyramid where like you're not actually working with them, you're working with someone under it, and like they just use their name for marketing. I have seen that before. So
and I know some that charge really cheap and then they sell you all your gear.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. That's it's a federal charge. I'd probably not do that. Yeah, no, don't do that. Peptides maybe, gear, don't do that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, first off, again, like I said, man, thanks again for stopping on. Any plugs or anybody you want to shout out? Where can people find you on Instagram, YouTube, social media? Any sponsorship codes or anything you want to shout out? Finish up. Give us the last bit of that. We'll wrap it up.
I got you. Yeah, I don't have any codes right now. I'm about to have a code with you soon. That's gonna be Z West. That's gonna be Z West when it does come. But Instagram at Zane L West, TikTok at Z Gains, YouTube Zane West. So that's where you can find me.
Cool. Well, like I said, man, appreciate you for having on, and thank you guys for watching. I try to have an episode every week, ranging from influencers to bodybuilders to anything in between. So Team Dial to the moon.